Water, earth, fire, and air. The four elements combine together into one to create the avatar, the master of all four elements. But with 4 times as much power as a normal bender, that's not Aang's true strength. Welcome, Scribes of the Extraordinary, and today we're going beyond entertainment and diving deeper into the craft of storytelling by analyzing another character, the last of the main group, from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that is Aang, who happens to be the Avatar, The Last Airbender. This show is all about focusing on Aang's journey of learning all four elements. He begins his journey as a master of airbending, as showcased by his tattoos. Airbenders receive all of their tattoos when they become a master and is seen as a master. So the fact that a 12-year-old is already seen as a master is rather crazy. But what's really cool about Aang is how adaptable he is, and he grows all throughout the show. And just because he's a master of one, he doesn't expect to be a master of everything instantaneously. He doesn't parade himself as this powerful guru. He doesn't parade himself as, I am the Avatar, look at me. He actually hides from it at the beginning because of the responsibility that comes with being the Avatar. And that's a big part of Aang's character arc, is growing. He wants to stay a boy the whole time. He loves having fun. He loves being a kid. It's great and it's a lot of fun. And because he's still a kid and he wants to be a kid, he has a lot of opportunities in the show where he could have solved problems head on, but instead he takes very creative approaches to things. He also tends to lean more towards pacifism, and he is a vegetarian because to him, all life is sacred. So because of these qualities, he often finds ways around problems instead of just dealing with them head on, using, I'm going to run at you with whatever weapons, throwing any elements that I can. He always uses these creative techniques in order to deal with any threats, which is really cool. But Aang's very adaptable, and he's also humble. He's willing to learn. He's willing to grow. When he comes face to face with, earthbending, it's his opposite element. He struggles with it, but he still is willing to change his worldview and to learn. One of the major moments in Aang's life when he has to pivot his worldview is going to be towards the end of season 1, when they make it to the Northern Wind Temple, right before they get to the Northern Water Tribe. And Aang sees this beautiful temple that he grew up visiting. He knew people who lived there. And it has holes in it, and it has pipes running through it everywhere, and there's machines everywhere in this place that's supposed to be very natural, very peaceful. And he's really angry about it. And over the course of that episode, he comes to realize these people aren't destroying his home because they don't like the culture and we need to tear this down, build something else. No, they were inspired by Aang's culture, by this lost culture, inspired to invent flying machines, inspired to learn how to fly. So yes, they had to destroy some walls, destroy some murals in order to make their way of life possible. But Aang realizes, it's because they love this culture. We've inspired them to do something new. So yes, this may not look the same. This may be different than how I remember it, but it's still something good. And that's something really cool about Aang, is he's so adaptable and he's so willing to learn from other views of life. When he was growing up, the world was at peace. He had friends in every single nation. Suddenly, he wakes up 100 years later, and the world's been at war for 100 years, and people who used to be his friends, that nation is now actively hunting him. And he has to figure out how to stop an entire army. He learns, he grows, he adapts, and he doesn't really complain about his adaptation. But his true strength, Aang's true strength, comes not from just his adaptability, which is incredibly representative of wind. It can go through anything, it can change directions. So his strength isn't just his adaptability. His strength is his stoicness, his unwillingness to change, to deviate from his values. To Aang, all life is sacred. All life is sacred. He doesn't eat meat. He doesn't judge those that eat meat. Sokka called himself the meat and boomerang guy. Aang's never frustrated or upset by his friends' choices. They do what they do. That's fine. He's going to go eat rabbit food. But Aang is stoic in his decision to value human life. So much so that at the very end of the series, during those last 4 episodes, they're trying to figure out a way how to take down the Fire Lord, who is the head of the entire Fire Nation, who's been the ones really spearheading this war. And they're the ones who started the war, and they're the ones who are winning. They tried taking him down in the middle of season 3, capturing him when they had no firebending ability because of the solar eclipse, and that didn't work. They knew they were coming. They escaped. So they had this plan to, capture the Fire Lord when he wasn't able to fight back. But now, when all the firebenders are going to have the strength of 100 firebenders because of this comet that's coming in, the Fire Lord ends up having enough power where he's burning acres at a time of power. And all of Aang's friends rally around him to help him stop the Fire Lord and say, you need to take him out. This man cannot live. Aang believes that all human life is valuable and worth living. Everyone around him, everyone that loves him, everyone that takes care of him, everyone who's been on this adventure with him, even the Fire Lord's own son is advocating for this man's death. And Aang tries, speaking with past avatars, he tries gaining as much wisdom as he can because he believes, no, I don't want to take life. I don't want to take life. Everyone around me is telling me I need to do this, but I don't believe I should do this. And the world's telling him this is the only way. 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 And he sticks to his guns. He sticks to his belief. He sticks to his values. He doesn't compromise. And he finds a way to defeat the Fire Lord, to take away everything that made him powerful, and still keep him alive. Aang is stoic, and he is a beautiful representation of when you have your core beliefs and the world around you tells you you're wrong and you need to change them. Don't listen to the world around you. Are there some strong beliefs that can change, should change? Absolutely. You can always learn, you can always adapt. Meeting people of different worldviews, different cultures, different backgrounds, you can always learn more as a person. But when it comes to the truth, and if you know this is true, and this is true, and this is true, do not deviate from it. Don't deviate from the truth just because the world around you says, oh, that can't be true. That's not how the world works. That's not how things work. Take an example from Aang's book and stick with it. For me, I believe that there is a loving God that created everything. He created everything, and everything was perfect and everything was beautiful. And then man turned away from him, and we sinned. And everyone sins. Nobody's perfect. I've never met a single human being ever in my life. I've never talked to anybody who has met a single human being ever who has been perfect and kind and loving, entirely perfect their entire life. And because God loved us so much and he wanted to redeem this relationship between us, that he sent his son to earth, fully God, fully man, to live a perfect life, to die on behalf of our sin punishment, and to rise again to share eternal life with us. Because he loved us so much, and then that's a free gift. That I know without a shadow of a doubt is the truth. Without a shadow of a doubt. And the world tells us we're wrong. The world tells us that can't be. That's not loving. To say there's only one way to get to heaven, that's not loving. How dare you? I know it's the truth, and I'm not deviating from it. Aang is another great example of he knows what is true. Did he ever berate his friends? Did he ever say, oh, you guys were so wrong. Look, Ozai's still alive, and he's not dangerous. No. Never once for his beliefs, did he belittle somebody else. So you can hold on to what is true. You can hold on to those core beliefs. And do so in love. You can let people know what you believe to be true in love, even if they don't accept it. That's their choice. That's okay. I know what I believe to be true. I know that it is true. I've lived too much life. I've seen too much for anyone to change my mind. And I know that it's truth. And just like Aang, I'm sticking with it. I'll share it with people in love. They're not going to change my mind on that factor, but they might broaden my horizons to other perspectives. So not only for your character's sake, but for your own sake, learn from Aang's excellent example of being adaptable. Be like the wind, go with the flow, be willing to change directions in life, be willing to learn things, be willing to have your eyes open to new experiences and new people and new worldviews. Learn. That's beautiful. But when it comes to the core values, hold on to them and keep them strong. If you like this video, really appreciate a like and subscribe to let me know that you guys like Avatar as much as I do. And we've gone through the entire team Avatar. But we're not done talking about Avatar characters on this channel, nor do I think we ever will be. So let me know which Avatar character you would like to see me tackle next and do another breakdown of. I believe the best way to learn, specifically when it comes to characters, is to see examples of them well written. But my scribes of the extraordinary, that's all I have for you today. I look forward to our next encounter as we continue our journey of going beyond entertainment, one step at a time.